The Simpsons. The unsettling Titanic submarine prediction and the uncannily accurate events they predicted. Fans have discovered a worrying connection between an episode of The Simpsons that focused on Homer's submarine excursion to the Titanic ruin. The terrible events of the lost submersible Titan. The Simpsons has made several accurate predictions throughout the years. The creators of the program have produced situations that reflect real life, from the 9/11 tragedy to Donald Trump's shocking election as president. When a terrible virus arrived in Springfield from Asia, creator Matt Groening and the team foresaw the global coronavirus epidemic 27 years ago, down to the exact details. Some have disputed claims that the creators of The Simpsons have prescient abilities. One writer asserted that the occurrences are mostly coincidences because the episodes are so ancient that history keeps repeating itself. However, this hasn't stopped viewers from fretting that other unsettling forecasts they have made have not yet materialized. Fans of The Simpsons are recalling alarming coincidences from an earlier episode in light of the terrible circumstances surrounding the missing submersible Titan. In the episode from 17 years ago, Homer Simpson's long-lost father Mason Fairbanks, who recovers sunken treasures from the sea, sets out on a journey to the ocean's bottom in search of the spoils of a sunken ship. He says to the crew of the boat, "Today I am full with delight, locating my long-lost son while looking for treasure. I hope that each of you experiences the same level of joy that I have right now." Prior to the trip, Homer makes fun of himself by saying, "And my dream is to someday wear a real wetsuit instead of one that it painted on." The two ride miniature submarines into the aquatic depths. As Mason explains, these waters contain some of Mother Nature's most stunning creations. Disaster strikes as Homer finds he is short of oxygen after seeing the riches. Homer is in a panic when a low oxygen light flashes on the screen. He collapses and mutters, "Daddy! Daddy!" Homer wakes up at a hospital after a 3-day coma, surrounded by his family, as the episode comes to a close. Another irony is that the missing sub was really used by Simpsons producer and writer Mike Rice to study the Titanic wreck. Mike tweeted in support of the travelers, saying, "Yes, the submarine that vanished is the same one I lowered to the Titanic. I wish success to everyone engaged." The Simpsons provided a pessimistic outlook for the year 2021. On Election Day this year, the special Treehouse of Horror episode began with a furious Marge ordering Homer to go to the school to cast his vote. Homer, who had grudgingly entered the polling booth, asks whether he can vote for Judge Judy before being cautioned by an unimpressed Lisa to keep in mind all that transpired over the last 4 years. Homer reflects on Trump's tenure in office, recalls a long list of the president's errors, transgressions, shocking deeds. This includes doing things like imprisoning children, pretending to be a disabled reporter, calling white nationalists fine people, advising others to ingest bleach, and aspiring to be a Mount Rushmore member. Homer votes after realizing he must take action, but it all turns out to be a dream because he slept in his hammock all day and neglected to cast his ballot. Homer asks, "How bad could it be?" before a flash ahead reveals the terrible outcome. January 20th, 2021, and the entire world is on fire. Buildings have been demolished, and on the day of the inauguration, fires are burning. Homer is sipping a beer on the roof of the Simpsons' home while holding a weapon while donning body armor made of pans, sieves, and cheese graters. The citizens of Springfield are running for cover in terror from the government robots that are destroying the town, it would appear, killing Hans Moleman. The elderly guy screams as he is viciously thrown into the air by a killer robot. "That's what I get for voting for Kanye." The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are then seen coming into town while carrying flags that read, "Pestilence, Famine, War," and "Treehouse of Horror," while Homer glances up. It's usually not a good thing when the Simpsons can foretell the future with such amazing accuracy. When a terrible flu struck Springfield in episode 21 of the 4th season of Marge in Chains, they pretty much had the coronavirus pandemic down pat. That was back in 1993. The Osaka flu, a fatal Japanese virus that spread to the town's residents after a factory worker coughed into a blender that was then exported to America, infecting the locals. The town fell into turmoil as the widespread disease spread, and everyone began to shop in a panic. This occurred in the UK when people raced out to the stores to buy toilet paper, pasta, and eggs at the beginning of the lockdown. In the episode, Children who displayed symptoms were advised to skip school, and Bart was incensed when it was determined that he was healthy enough to go. The lethal illness eventually overcame his weakened immune system, and his temperature spiked. In another scene, wealthy Mr. Burns was shown leaving for his secret bunker to survive the pandemic alone when he was shocked to discover Homer already devouring his supplies. This wasn't too distant from reality, with wealthy celebrities flying off to their second houses in Cornwall or taking luxurious vacations in Dubai. Back in 2007, The Simpsons movie also received some odd predictions. When he was diagnosed with coronavirus earlier this year, Tom Hanks stated the US government had lost credibility and advised people to avoid him. When different regions of the nation were divided into tiers this year, they notably shielded Springfield under a huge glass dome. One of the more startling predictions made by the program that came true was Donald Trump's ascent to power. President Lisa mentioned inheriting quite a budget crunch from President Trump in a 2000 episode set in a futuristic Earth. The creators of the show had been searching for a funny celebrity to be president, but they had no idea he would actually take office in 2016. There was also a scenario in Trump Tower where Trump descended the escalator while waving to his followers, and it almost exactly matched a 2015 real-life photo. The episode's running chalkboard joke at the episode's central character read, "Being right sucks." This was the week following the election. Conspiracy theorists also believe The Simpsons made a reference to the 9/11 terror attacks before they happened. In New York City Against Homer, Lisa holds up a magazine with the word New York accompanied by a number 9 against a silhouette of the World Trade Center, which looks like the number 11. Some believe it may have been a warning over the horrific attacks on New York in 2001, as the episode aired 4 years before the terrorist atrocities. In a 1994 episode, Springfield Elementary's lunch lady Doris utilized assorted horse parts to prepare lunches for the pupils, making a reference to the 2013 horse meat controversy. The show has also foreseen other terrible outbreaks, such as the Ebola virus, as Marge read the 1997 book Curious George and the Ebola virus to a sick Bart. Since it is thought that monkeys were the first animals to contract Ebola before it reached humans, the picture showed the famous fictional monkey lying in bed looking unwell. 16 years later, the virus made news because it quickly spread over West Africa, causing border closures and travel restrictions. The show also made fatal forecasts regarding the financial crisis in Greece, the malfunction of the US voting machines, and the passing of singer Prince. One of the most terrifying prophecies had Roy Horn being attacked by a tiger. A white tiger attacked the German circus duo Gunther and Ernst in 1993, who were a blatant imitation of Siegfried and Roy. 10 years later, a white tiger named Mandkor attacked Roy during a performance, inflicting him with injuries that would change his life. It hasn't always been gloomy. The Simpsons has been ahead of the curve when it comes to technology, foreseeing smart watches and baby translators. When the American curling team won the Olympic gold medal, they correctly anticipated the winning nations, and 6 years prior to the award of the Nobel Prize, they correctly identified the winner. Years before it happened, the Super Bowl halftime performance by Lady Gaga was precisely predicted. The Simpsons even foresaw their own history, forecasting 2 decades in advance that Disney would acquire 21st Century Fox. Interestingly, a joke about a fish with 3 eyes named Blinky actually came to pass. In a 1990 episode, Bart caught the fish that was altered by radioactive waste in a river near the power station. A real 3-eyed fish was unsettlingly found in an Argentine reservoir 10 years later. It was made much more concerning by the fact that a nuclear power station supplied water to the reservoir in question. How do they manage to do it so well? There have been many more predictions made on The Simpsons that have not yet materialized. And let's hope they don't actually occur in real life for our sake. Our iconic Big Ben was depicted in a futuristic episode with a digital visage rather than the familiar and cherished one. But given that technology is always changing and that people desire to keep up with the times, might this be the real purpose of the renovations being done to the clock tower right now? The Simpsons correctly predicted that President Trump would win the election, so they may also be onto something when they predict that his daughter will carry on his legacy. It wouldn't be the first time a United States president's child has gone on to rule the nation when they displayed a badge in 2016 with the words, Ivanka 2028, printed on it. Numerous ominous prophecies that the world will end are true exist. The Simpsons visited Itchy and Scratchy Land in an episode from 1994, but their trip to the theme park on a far-off island went horribly wrong. It would be a catastrophe if it happened at Disney World if the robots broke down and started attempting to kill the visitors. Additionally, there was Mr. Burns' cunning plan to cover the sun so that the people would have to pay more for electricity. The businessman was shot as a result, but a rich real-life billionaire might carry out his plan. Additionally, since aliens Kong and Kodos once subjugated the world, there may be problems from space. Thank you again for joining us for another video. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe and comment down below and let us know what you would like to hear in the near future. See you all again soon.